Officials here say that the outages began Saturday night after two power substations were intentionally targeted and damaged by gunfire. This was intentional. Crews found signs of vandalism. Multiple pieces of equipment were damaged. Repairs may go on for days.
Tens of thousands of residents in central North Carolina are suffering with cold temperatures and no power to keep warm after gunfire damaged electric substations in the area. Now, this is in Moore County, to be specific. Officials say that the power outage is believed to be intentional, meaning the vandalism that led to the power outage is intentional, though a motive has yet to be determined or confirmed. Now, there's a lot of speculation about what the motive was. I guess I'll speculate, but I want to be clear, it has not been confirmed, and we should not assume things and act based on assumptions. With that said, though, let's take a look at officials during their press conference talking about what happened and why they believe it was intentional.
Evidence at the scene indicated that showed that the firearm had been used to disable the equipment.
Folks, this was a terrible act, and it appears to be an intentional, willful, and malicious act. And the perpetrator will be brought to justice and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
So the second gentleman you heard from is Tom McGinnis, who is a state senator in North Carolina, and he believes that it is in fact intentional, but he's not the only one. So the sheriff who you heard earlier in that video also said that he believes that it is an intentional act of vandalism. As utility crews began responding to the affected substations, evidence was discovered that indicated that intentional vandalism had occurred at multiple sites, the sheriff's office said in an earlier statement. Deputies were then deployed to various locations to provide security. Now, this is a disaster because the damage done is not an easy fix. It is going to take a while to get power back up. And we're talking about 45,000 people in the area who are dealing with extremely cold temperatures with no power to keep warm. Some are going to a nearby shelter to seek some warmth there, but it is a dire situation and it is terrifying, especially when you consider, the, I guess, transparent nature of the comments coming from a spokesperson from Duke Energy who's like, yeah, we're not gonna be able to fix this soon. It's gonna take a while. Jeff Brooks, a spokesman for Duke Energy, which provides power to thousands of businesses and homes in the region, said that the damage to the station was intentional. So he's now the third person who has said it, and would require extensive repairs that could last several days. The parts of the substations that were damaged need to be replaced completely, unlike when pieces can be repaired in place after extreme weather knocks out power. And by the way, extreme weather has in fact knocked out power in this area before. So, I really think that there are multiple points to be made in this story. Number one, once a motive is confirmed, what do we do about this type of act? How do you prevent it from happening? And how do you protect the energy grid from these types of attacks? And secondly, what are these energy companies doing to provide additional safety and protection to ensure that people aren't left without power for days and days? They're not expecting this power to come back for a while. So unlike perhaps a storm where you can go in and reroute power somewhere else, that was not an option in this case, Brooks said. Again, the spokesperson for Duke Energy, adding that the repairs would extend as far as Thursday. We do want citizens of the town to be prepared. Now, here are the details that we know right now, and the story is developing. Again, we are awaiting confirmation on what the motive was here. Two electric substations were attacked by gunfire, okay? At least 45,000 people are without power, okay? The FBI and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation are investigating this attack. And what could the motive be? This is what's kind of floating around there. Responding to questions about whether the vandalism was related to a drag show in the area that had faced backlash, Sheriff Ronnie Field said he was unaware of any connection, but that authorities were investigating all possibilities. He said, quote, "Is it possible? Yes, anything's possible, but we've not been able to tie anything back to the drag show." Okay. I don't know why anyone would intentionally force 45,000 residents to suffer without power in cold temperatures in Moore County, North Carolina. But I mean, when you think about the right-wing media's incessant attacks on adults going to drag shows, when you consider the shooting that just took place at a gay club, I mean, these are all things that we should keep in mind when it comes, when you consider Boston Children's Hospital being targeted with bomb threats over the gender affirming care that they offer at the facility. I can understand why people would suspect that a drag show in the area was what motivated these perpetrators to intentionally vandalize the electric substations in the area. Now, what about the LGBT community there? What are they saying? Well, Lauren Mathers, the executive director of Sandhills Pride, the LGBTQ organization that produced the show, said that while the group had received violent threats leading up to the event, none indicated any kind of planned attack on the region's power grid. So she's saying, look, we've been getting a lot of threats, but there wasn't a threat that was specific to our power being vandalized, the substations being vandalized. She said, quote, "We did not receive any specific threats that would lead me to be able to say to you, there's a correlation." And then she added that although it was the fourth time the group had put on the show, they had never received such pushback. Drag shows in general have come under attack recently. Okay, I gotta pause and just address this for a second. Why are we allowing right-wingers to have us all live in fear when we want to engage in behavior, activities, when we want to be entertained in ways that they don't like? Like, why do they get a say, or why do they even want a say, more importantly, in what we do for entertainment, what we do for enjoyment, what we do for pleasure? Why is it any of their business? I mean, on one hand, you have right-wingers constantly making themselves out to be victims because they want to control everything, right? And when they can't, they lose their minds. They want to control Twitter, they want to control the curriculum your kids are learning in school. If you want your kids to learn about this nation's history, the history of racism in the country, no, you can't have it. You can't have it because conservatives want to control it. And they're the ones who get to be the arbiters of what your kids can learn, what kind of sex you can have, what kind of relationship you can be in. And now you can't even go to a club and watch a drag show? Really? I mean, why are they so obsessed with being the nanny state? They're not my mom and dad. I'm an adult, I can do whatever I want. I wanna go to a drag show. Why can't I go to a drag show without being terrorized by these lunatics? Do they not have anything better to do? Anyway, now she said that the show, which was held Saturday evening. This is Lauren Mathers, who's the executive director of Sandhills Pride. She says that it's held at an old movie theater in Southern Pines, about 80 miles south of Raleigh, and was about 40 minutes in when the power went out. And regardless of what this motive is, vulnerable people in this area are suffering. Because again, it's cold, and you should keep in mind that it has a very large retired community. So we're talking about elderly people who are, again, suffering in the cold over potentially someone or a group of people who were so outraged over a drag show that they had to vandalize 2 power substations in the area. First Health Moore Regional Hospital, which serves a 15-county region in the Carolinas, is running on backup generator power and has enough fuel to last at least 5 days, with the ability to procure more if needed. So luckily the hospital in that area is doing okay. But when you lose power, I mean, a lot of people do suffer. And Gretchen Kelly, who's a spokesperson for the hospital, says, "We're fully staffed, so we don't have any concerns. We're ready to take care of the community as needed." So that made me feel a little bit better. But the fact that people have to live in terror over living their lives as adults, looking for enjoyment, during the weekends because conservatives don't like it, is insane, absolutely insane. The fact that people in that community have to suffer without power because potentially some hateful group vandalized their substations because they were so offended, their feelings were so hurt over a drag show. Again, insane. But all you'll hear is how much the left is trying to go around and control people's lives. It's crazy. There's only one area where I see real censorship and real obsession with controlling our lives, and that's not coming from the left wing. I see a lot of it coming from the rabid right that has been poisoned into thinking that all of their problems in life are caused by drag shows, the transgender community, CRT that isn't even being taught at elementary schools. It's amazing, it really is. In reality, they're being distracted by the very people who are assisting corporate interests in robbing the people being brainwashed right now. It's insane. This is what we keep seeing over and over again. And it's frustrating because innocent people suffer as a result of it.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.